Although 50% of conception problems can be attributed to men, infertility is still generally thought of as a female issue. Our next guest joins us with actions men can take to make a positive impact on conception and pregnancy health. We welcome nutritionist Ayla Barmmer to the show. Ayla, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
That kind of surprised me when I learned this. 50% is still attributed to the men. So why is it usually falling on the female?
Yes, I think this may be surprising for listeners to hear because infertility is generally viewed as a women's health issue, but in reality, as you mentioned, it's equally both. And to give you some actual numbers, it does roughly wind up being 50-50 because 30% of infertility issues are due primarily to male factors, 30% due to female factors, and then there's this remaining 40%, which is categorized as the most frustrating diagnosis of all, and that's unexplained infertility. And that tends to mean a combination of both male and female factors. So it really is a shared issue, despite the fact that men are often left out of the equation, or at best, they're simply viewed as having one role, fertilization. And we know now that the research is showing that men's health not only contributes or affects fertilization, but also the health of the pregnancy and baby's long-term health. So it matters a lot.
Really? Okay, so how does it actually affect the pregnancy?
Yes, so we have good research now that shows that men actually contribute more to the development of the placenta than women do. And the placenta is an organ that women actually grow and develop, a whole new organ, during pregnancy, and it nourishes baby and it filters out a lot of things. And so men actually help with the development and the health of that. And the health of the placenta can be traced to a lot of different pregnancy complications. So in the research, that's one of the reasons why we're seeing men have more of a role, but we're seeing things like miscarriage, pregnancy complications like preeclampsia, even gestational diabetes and preterm birth, all coming back to at least men contributing.
Oh, wow. Okay, so as far for women, we know that age matters. Does it matter for men?
It does. So men do become more at risk for fertility issues as they age, and there could be consequences for both the health of the pregnancy again and baby. However, the good news is that for both women and men, it is less about age and more about the cumulative effect of stressors on the body that happen as we age. So if we think about it this way, then the strategy becomes minimize and compensate for the stressors. And I don't just mean stress in the classical sense. There's a lot of that, right? But also things like nutrient deficiencies, lifestyle choices, environmental exposures like pollution, for example. So not all of this is in our control, but there are things that are in our control that can essentially help us reverse the clock.
Well, I know too many moms before you're even pregnant do take like a special vitamin, right, to have the right nutrients. Should a male be doing the same thing?
Yes, so there is really good evidence that nutrients play a huge role in both protecting sperm as they develop and the overall health and parameters of sperm. And so men really should be on a prenatal as well. And so that is, as a practitioner, what I saw in practice was the need for that. And so based on the research, I put together a blend in FullWell's Vitality and Virility to really be the male counterpart, the male prenatal to what to our female prenatal.
So what does that look like? I don't think, is it on the shelf as a prenatal for men?
Yes, so sometimes they can be called that. Ours is FullWell's Vitality and Virility, but really what men are looking for nutrients in supplement form are things that are going to do exactly what they sound. They're going to supplement the diet. And so some of the things that they need more of that most men are not getting enough of to support overall reproductive health are things like vitamin D. So I like to really see 4,000 IUs daily for fertility support in addition to light exposure. And so this is true for no matter where you live. Geographically, we know that 4,000 IUs is evidence-based to help support vitamin D levels in men. B vitamins in their most bioavailable form, including folate. We think of folate for women's health and certainly in a prenatal to prevent neural tube defects, but it's actually very important for men's sperm health and development as well. And we want to also consider how much it would take to get that enough folate in our diet. So to give you an example, I mean, it takes 64 cups of kale to get in the recommended 1,000 micrograms of folate, which we include in the supplement. So it can be really tough to get everything we need in diet-wise. And that's true too for things like zinc, which really supports testosterone levels and sperm motility. So that's essentially how fast can they swim. And antioxidants, like vitamin C, E, selenium, lycopene. Lycopene is a really interesting compound that's been shown to improve many aspects of male fertility, including sperm count, viability, quality. So I know, again, this can actually all sound rather complicated, but if you have a really good evidence-based formula that incorporates evidence-based amounts of these nutrients in the proper forms, that can really help create that foundation and make it easy.
Ayla, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great information today, and it was a lot. So we're going to have more information about Ayla on our website at katu.com. But don't go away. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.